Good morning, time for some column addition. As you will see on Teams, I have given you our normal selection of green, orange, red and purple level. I'm going to go through quickly how I would like it to be laid out and also how to solve these problems. As you will see, I'm using squared paper. I know many of you will be using your lined books. It is very important that you lay it out correctly. Otherwise, when you get to the harder questions that we will get through to later on in the week, you will struggle. So, first things first, we need the date. It is maths, so I expect to see the short date. And we are going to be doing column addition. Okay, before you all comment, I know I made a spelling mistake here. Please forgive me. And you're going to solve maths problems. Don't forget to underline it. I just had to find my ruler. Okay, now we have to decide what level we're going to do. Well, I'm going to start off with the green level. So I'm going to write my question number. I'm going to leave a square. In fact, I'm going to leave 2 because I don't know how big my answers are going to be. I'm going to make sure my units are under each other and my tens are under each other. And that I have got my addition sign so that people know that I'm doing an add sum. And then I'm going to start with my units. 2 add 3 is 5. 1 add 2 is 3. And then I'm going to do my next question. Now you can either do it underneath or you can do it to the side. If you're going to do it to the side, make sure you leave lots of space between them so they don't all budge up together. Well, I found green level quite easy, so I'm actually going to try an orange level now. So I'm going to try the first orange question. And it starts off very similar, except the next number is a little bit bigger, but the layout is exactly the same. So 2 add 3 is 5. 8 add 1 is 9. I'm going to carry on with the orange level and do another question, because as you will notice with the orange level, as you go through them, you will need to carry. So I'm going to jump ahead to one that I know I need to carry on so that you can see how to do that. So orange, question 5. 52 add 93. Yes, I like my 3s and my 2s, you know me well. 3 add 2 is 5. 9 add 5 though, or 5 add 9, because remember addition we can do either way, but I like to put the big number in my head first. So 9 add 5 is 14. So what we do is we actually carry the 1 across and we put the 4. So this is our 14. But there's nothing here to add it to, so we can just put that 1 straight down there. So we end up with the answer 145. Okay, so that's the green and the orange levels explained, but I'm now going to go on to the red levels. The red levels, as you will notice, are dealing with hundreds, but also they are dealing with carrying as well. So, question 1 of the reds. I'm going to have to leave a bit more room this time because we're dealing with hundreds. So I'm going to leave at least the 2, possibly the 3. I'm going to have a quick look at those numbers, and well, they're both below 500. So that means I shouldn't be getting into the thousands as an answer. So I should be okay to leave just the 2 squares. That's why it's important to be able to estimate. So I can estimate that 123 is only a little bit bigger than 100. And 187 is less than 200. So 100 add 200 is going to give me 300. It's going to be around that. So that's me estimating to make sure that I've got enough space here that it's not all going to be squished together. Okay, I'm going to change my pen for a minute. Okay, I've just changed my pen just so it's easier when you're looking at where I'm carrying. Because I'm looking at this and I know that we're going to have to carry a couple of times to solve this one. So 7 add 3 is 10. So I'm going to put my 0 and I have 1, it's a 10. So it needs to go in the tens column. Now I'm going to add my tens. 8 add 2 is 10, but I have this one up here. So that's going to make 11. And 11 tens is actually 110. So I'm going to put the 10 there. And this one, because it's now 100, because we have 110, I'm going to put the 1 up there. Then we're going to add these together. 1, add 1 is 2, add 1 more is 3. And you're going to carry on. Again, I'll do the next question as well so you can see that one. Be careful again, leave a space between the one above so that we're not getting too crowded. Now, I'm going to do a rough estimate again. So this time I have 800 plus 200. Now 800 plus 200, so 8 plus 2 is going to give me a 10, which basically means it's going to be 1,000. So I'm actually going to leave 3 squares this time, just to give me plenty of space. We actually estimate a lot without realizing. Okay, and again, I'm going to change color just so you can see clearly how I'm going to work my way through this one. So 6 add 4 is 10. This is why it's very important to have that space. If you notice, I don't put it as a big one, I put it as a little one, so that I've still got space between the question above and this question. 3 add 3 is 6, add 1 more, gives me 7. 8 add 2 gives me 10. So I'm going to put my 0 and carry my little 1 across. But there's nothing underneath to add it to, so I can put it straight down. So this is why it was important to leave that little extra space, otherwise my answer would be coming up over here and it would be start squishing into my question number. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead now to go on to the purples and show you the tricky questions that I put into the purples. They're not as hard as they seem, but you will need to take your time and make sure you line them up properly. If you don't line them up properly, you're going to get into a muddle. So, purple question 1. And I'm going to leave as much space as I can because I have a 9,000 number. But now I only have hundreds. So this is my thousands, but I have hundreds. If I wasn't paying attention and I put my number straight underneath, suddenly this 300, because it's 347, would be in the thousands column. and that would give me a really messed up answer. So we need to be very careful and make sure that we put it straight under in the right columns, which is why it's called column addition. Yes, up here in Scotland, some people call it chimney sums. It's got actually several different names depending on where you are in the world, and it's important for you to know all the different names. But more importantly, it's vital that you know how to do it. And I'm going to put my addition sign over here because I don't want it here because it can look like a number. Okay, a weird looking number, but it could look like a number and get people confused. And if it's over there, it's out of the way, but everybody can see that I'm doing an addition. 8 add 7 is 15. 1 add 4. Okay, sorry about that. I had a little technical hitch as well. And I've also realised I've just been rubbing out some of my words as I've been grabbing hold of the board each time. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to try and show you some of the purple questions that highlight why it's really important that we line things up correctly. So I'm going to skip ahead and show you purple question 8. Again, this is a longer question. So it's 4,624. Add 709. Make sure you put that in the hundreds column. And 41. Then I'm going to put my addition sign all the way over here. I don't want it miles over here because otherwise it could mean anything. We want it still in with our sums. We do not need to put additions on each line either. Just one addition to show us that this is an additions problem. And then we're going to work our way through them. So I'm looking at the units first, the ones column. And I'm going to put the biggest number in my head first, which is the 9. And I know 9 add 1 gives me 10, because my friends have 10. So I've got 10. Add 4 gives me 14. Now I'm going to do the same again, but now with the tens column. 4, add nothing is still 4. Add 2 is 6. Add 1 gives me 7. 7 add 6 gives me 13. I'm going to put the 3 down there and put my little 1. So I've got my 13. And 4 add 1, because there's nothing here. 4 add 1 gives me 5. Oh, my board's just moved. Okay, now I've picked my board up. Okay, I'm going to show you one more question. And the question I'm going to show you is one where I've mixed them up. So here I gave you the biggest number first and then I worked my way down. So it looks nice and neat. But problems don't always give you them in that order. And yes, you could rearrange them to put them in that order. But I also just like to deal with them as they come. So for example, question 12. Oh dear, I'm not going to have enough space to put it there. I need to clean my board. Okay, let's try that again. Purple, question 12. I'm going to miss my 3 squares because it's longer numbers. 4,610. 47. And 235. Now, if I hadn't put these lined up against this side, I could end up with 4,700, and that would throw my actual maths off, because that wouldn't be the question that I'm being asked. And again, very important to start with the units, because when you carry, you're carrying that way. You're going from the units to the tens to the hundreds to the thousands. So 7 add 5 is 12. We didn't need to worry about that, but we needed that because otherwise that would not be 4,000, that would be 400. 3 add 4 is 7, add 1 more is 8, add 1 more again is 9. 6 add nothing, add 2 is 8. 4 add nothing is 4. As you can see, they're not as hard as you think. They might look a little bit scary at the beginning, but as long as you keep the same rules, write each question as a chimney sum, making sure they all line up here. There shouldn't be any gaps here. They should all line up in the units column. And then to start adding, you start adding with this column. You work your way down or up, or start with the biggest number, but you don't need to worry about any of that. You're only looking at one column at a time. So no matter how large a number, as long as you start with the units, you'll be fine. For example, there you go. Looks like some very big numbers. However, if we keep to the same rules, it's not that scary. We're just going to look one column at a time. So 9 add 1 add 2 is 12. 7 add 3 is 10. Add 1 more is 11. Add another is 12. 6 add 7 is 13. Add 2 more is 15. Add 1 more is 16. 3 add 1 is 4. Add 0 is 4. Add 1 more is 5. 7 add 2 is 9. 4 add 4 is 8. Add that one up there is 9. 9 add 0 is 9. 3 add 1 is 4. 4 add 2 is 6. 9 add 3 is 12. So there we go. That's not a sum that you would come across very often, but you can handle it if you do come across it.